now we can talk about your interview process actually. Okay, so yes, so if you could please tell us a bit about the interview rounds, or in fact we can start with this, like if you could remember like how many students were shortlisted for the interview. Do you remember that number?
Yeah, 10, I guess 10 students were shortlisted for CDS and this in computational data science role.
Okay.
And for four, there were more, like maybe
Yes.
15, 16
And
students maybe.
out of 10 shortlisted students, how many were finally selected for the position? How many were offered?
Three students are
Three.
all. Yeah.
Three. Okay. Yes. So finally, three students were selected out of those 10 shortlisted students. Okay. So, and I guess three means one, of course, you are the one of them, and one from two are from chemical, right?
No, no, one from chemical and another from mechanical itself with thermal background.
Okay,
Thermal.
means two from mechanical and one from chemical.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, okay. So now we can talk about the interview rounds, the number of rounds, and the thing like what happened in each and every round, and the focus of every round. If you could tell us about those things.
Like there was only one round, but they divided that one round in two parts. Like my interview went on up to 1 hour 20 minutes.
Oh,
So for initial 50 minutes, around 50 minutes, they asked completely technical, and for next 30 minutes or 20 minutes, they asked HR questions.
okay.
In that 50 minutes, again, around 60% of that 50-minute time went on my MTP itself.
Okay.
For next for other 40% of the time, they ask some basics of machine learning, like can you derive logistic function or logistic regression equations,
Yes.
and what are your views on SVM? Such basic questions were there. And uh, to be frank, my interview panel was very good. I don't know what other word to use, but it was very good. Like they were making me more comfortable. They started the interview not by asking me to introduce them, but by themselves introducing me. There were three people. Three of them introduced themselves to me that my name is this Prem. My designation is this. I come from here.
Yes.
So in that way, they made me comfortable, which is very important. If interviewer itself is making you uncomfortable, then even the most confident person on the earth may fumble. But it is up to interviewer that they should make us comfortable. So
Yes.
in that case, I was lucky. They made me comfortable by introducing themselves. Then they asked me to introduce myself.
Yes.
Then after, as most of us use the same strategy, I prepared an introduction such that I ended my introduction on my MTP. Like
Okay.
3 to 4 lines of my introduction end was my MTP.
Yes.
So they continued like saying, "Oh, it seems interesting. Can you elaborate?"
Yeah.
Then even I prepared a structure like in this way. I will explain them like this is the present problem, this is the present solution, these are the problems in present solution, and this is what I want to do or achieve
Yes.
new. So even I didn't have to remember the structure. The questions which they were asking were like this only, like why did you choose this project,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
what do you feel is the problem in present system,
Yeah.
why do you think it is a problem, how do you want to improve this, and what are your personal strategies to improve this. Such interview flow was maintained by interviewer themselves. And in general, like uh, if I discuss about my MTP with my friends from mechanical department, they used to grill me on mechanical aspects of that only. And when I used to discuss my MTP with people from electrical background or computer science background, they used to grill me on machine learning part only. But interviewer here were grilling me on both aspects. Like
Yes.
they were combining these two exactly the way I am. They exactly knew what I was talking about. And in that case, I was lucky as well because they were making me comfortable. And where I was doing some mistakes, they were giving me suggestion. What do you think if instead of doing this, if you would do this, will you get better results? Some in some places I argued that no, it might not give the better results because of these reasons, and at some other places I gave them the honest reason that yes, I haven't thought about it. I will think. I haven't thought about I haven't thought in that aspect as of now. I will thank you for the suggestion. Even these terms I have used.
Yes.
So overall, my experience that my experience with Exxon was like I was genuine throughout the interview. I was genuine because in initial 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes itself, I got to know that this person knows a lot about what I am doing. I cannot bluff him.
Mm.
So be genuine as much as possible. So that whole interview, I was genuine, and they were happy with me. Like then after my MTP, they went on to other projects, course projects, but they didn't ask me about the project which I did, but the concepts which I wrote, like I used support vector machines and I got this much accuracy.
Mm.
Then why do you think in general decision trees can give better accuracy?
Yeah.
Then why do you think in this case SVM gave better accuracy? Such things they asked, but
Yeah.
um, I don't think they were expecting an accurate answer. They were just expecting how I think and all. That's
Yeah.
it. Because frankly, I didn't know the answer to this question, and I just told whatever I think about these both algorithm at that point of time.
Yeah.
Then they showed me an code. They showed me a small code, which was generally a normalization code. When
Yeah.
we have features in different ranges, so
Yeah.
we normalize the
Yeah.
features, right? So
Yes.
they show me a code which was normalizing thing
Okay.
and asking me what exactly it is. Have you ever used this such questions? Like I feel they were just checking basics throughout my interview. They never mentioned any high five questions or any high level questions. They were strict to the basics. They asked me about logistic regression, like what is logistic function, how do you arrive to that logistic function,
Yeah.
and to draw the logistic function.
Yes.
Even gave me a code, like they gave me an input and an output and asked me to write a code on paper and show them. Because of lesser clarity, they were not able to see it. Then they asked me to spell it out, how I am thinking, what is the mathematical function which is mapping the input and output.
Okay.
Such things were there. So up to 15 minutes this went on.
Yes.
Then after 15 minutes, 50
Yeah.
uh, HR took on.
Yeah.
HR then said, "You were good technically. Let's get into HR." Then he asked me questions on my PR,
Okay.
not directly pointing at those. He was like, first question was like, uh, "What all initiatives you took in
Yes.
your academic career,
Yeah.
and how do you feel about it? What impact it created?" So
Yes.
there I mentioned about my school life, what initiatives I took in my school life.
Yes.
Then my BTech life, nothing about what I did in MTech. Then then the second question like was you have mentioned a lot of PRs. I mentioned 5 PRs to be
Oh.
exact.
Yeah.
So you have mentioned a lot of PRs. So just explain one of your PR that uh, things which went wrong and things which went right, and what have you learned from each of those.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for this.
Oh.
I was prepared for how to explain my PR,
Yes.
and even I was prepared for uh, how I overcame the tackles and all, but
Yeah.
not exactly for this question. What went good, what went bad, even that I can explain, but what went good, that
Exactly.
was something I was not prepared for.
Yeah.
So again, I believe that whenever things go wrong, whenever you see that things are not getting right, just be true to yourself, things will fall at place. So at that time also I didn't directly jump into answering the question. I took time. I repeated the question. This is what you want exactly? He said yes.
Yes.
In that repeating question time, I prepared my answer.
Yeah.
uh, my answer was like more genuine. I don't know if I can tell my answer or not. What went good with me, I tell them that the friends which I got during my PR, what I learned from them, how they changed my attitude towards any problem solving. These things I explained to them. It may not work with everyone, but it did work with me. Towards the end of my answer, he said that it was indeed a nice experience. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yes.
So being genuine to yourself, it helps.
Yes, yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah. So, as we can summarize that there was only one round, but it comprised of two different sections. Like, Miss one was mainly around technical aspects, and another was around HR questions. And technical aspects, of course, it took around 50 minutes, 50, and the another 30, 40 minutes was on the HR round. So, in that technical questions, you were mainly grilled about your MTP, as you have mentioned, right? And
Yes.
then the related areas, as you have mentioned, that since they were also of the same domain, so they could grill you better.
Yeah.
Yes. And since you are, I guess you had already discussed your MTP with mechanical friends, electrical friends, CS friends, so you are having a very good understanding of your MTP from all the possible aspects, right?
Yes.
And then there were course projects, obviously. So, like in your interview, mainly in technical part, was there something which you could not answer, or you regret that I did not study that thing, but the questions were from that topic? Anything happened like that?
Mm, there were no questions which I didn't answer. Interviewer was having a good idea of what I was doing, what my MTP is about. So he went to a depth where if slightest of modified question, if he would have asked, I would have fumbled. Like I am using a concept called transfer learning, where I am training my model on simulation data. Then I will update the weights which are trained on simulation data using the actual data, so that total number of practical experiments which I have to do to gather the data is minimized.
Yes.
So he asked me like, how are you sure that this updated weight, how are you sure about the number of practical experiments which you have to do, so that it could the minimum number of experiments which will suffice
Yes.
updating your present simulation model, so that it can represent a real life scenario. I
Mm,
don't have idea. Like I
mm,
don't know the number of minimum experiments I have to do so that my model could resemble the real life scenario.
yes.
In that case, I agreed, sir. As of now, I don't know. Uh, Maybe I will have to do trial and error. Maybe initially I will have to do 100 experiments, then see how my model is working. If it is not behaving well, then try to uh, undo the uh, learning from simulation data.
Yes.
Then again learn from the actual experiments. Maybe go up to 200. Then see if it is working. Sir, as of now, I am thinking that this is a trial and base method. If there is any strict mathematical aspect behind it, which can tell me that this is the minimum number of practical experiments I have to do, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I explained him, I don't know, but this is how I think I can do this. In
Yeah.
this way, I tackled it. In that sense, it was not like I am completely blind anywhere. I explained him that I am thinking in this way and I don't know if it is right or wrong.
Yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, definitely. If your interviewers are from that area only, then it becomes a bit interesting. Like we don't know what might they ask and up to what depth they can grill us. Yes. And so coming back to like another aspect of the interview, like anything which you prepared well and that question was asked in the interview. Like, like some very good math that I studied this thing and that was exactly asked in the interview.
Uh, I would say that's my MTP. Like
Okay.
50 to 60% of my interview was an MTP about which I was well prepared. I am
Okay.
a doc. I have prepared a doc where this is how I will answer,
Okay.
and here he might cross question this. I have answered that as well. I had that doc during my every interview. I used to go through that doc file
Okay.
and be prepared for that. So MTP was an edge for me. I prepared very well for that, and even in interview it went well. Especially, I don't see anything else. Everything else was a surprise for me. But MTP is something which I was prepared well, and I was asked about it.
I guess mainly they were interested in your MTP since it was a very good MTP, at least from their project scenario, the projects which they are working on, and and then they were dealing with your course projects, right? The courses which you have taken, or obviously there were no direct question. It's just the concepts which they were asking from you. Okay, and anything from your core courses, anything which they asked from your core courses?
No, they didn't ask me about specifically core. They didn't ask me, but mechanical aspects which were there in my project. Like
Can you
I'm,
repeat?
yeah,
Okay.
uh, we have this concept of blank holding force, die radius, punch radius. So these are the parameters which I am trying to optimize using my algorithm. So they asked me what are the ranges of these values, magnitude like 1
Yes.
kilonewton to 10 kilonewton. What is the force?
Okay.
Your radiuses. What are the range of these radiuses? Such
Yes.
basic questions they asked. Nothing in depth.
Okay, so I think that was also about MTP only.
Yeah.
Yes, so they did not focus much on the your core courses, even though you would have definitely written some core courses in your resume, but they did not ask questions on those courses. Yes.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah,
for core they were only looking for a person uh, who had the knowledge of softwares which I mentioned, like Abacus, Fluent, OpenFOAM. I mentioned that I have used Abacus. Uh, Apart from that, I don't think there was anything which they looked in my resume for core part.
yeah, and I think they were having another profile of code engineer, right?
Yes,
So yes, so I think then they would have asked core concepts. They would have asked from those students who were appearing for core profile.
yes,
Yeah, definitely. So coming to the second section of your interview process, that was HR question, and you have also mentioned the things which happened in that round. So now one genuine question, like about POR, means positions of responsibility. Okay. In case of BTech, we know that they spend time since they have a 4 years program. So of course they get some time to devote on PORs. But in case of master student, especially in case of TA, 2 years program, they don't need much time. RA, they have 3 years course, so they have some time. So how do you see POR? Whether should we go for a POR or we should not go for a POR, or whether it will help you, because everything at some point of time it becomes about getting a placement. We think that I should do this, it will give me some benefit in placements or not. So from that perspective, or as a whole holistic approach, how do you see PORs?
PORs. For a second, if we forget placements, PORs are very important for MTech students as well. Like not everyone here is very good in English or communication as or has high confidence. This PR is some, and neither do we have that many courses or activities which can teach us academically to get confident or be fluent in English.
Yeah.
So PRs are that mediums, that gaps which can be filled, which cannot be filled academically. That one can become confident, can become fluent in English, or of course, he cannot become fluent in English by doing PR, but be confident enough that he's able to communicate well. Like I am giving my own example. Like I still feel I am not good in English, but I am confident enough that whatever I am speaking is good enough that a person whom I am speaking will understand.
Yes.
Such confidences which people lack, especially in mechanical, I see that people do lack such confidence.
Yeah.
For those, PRs are important. Uh, if you don't have much time, don't go for time consuming PRs.
Yeah.
Coming to placements part, if you are going for core, I don't think anyone asks you for PR. But for uh, even for analyst and even for me, as I already mentioned, they were looking for someone who can take initiatives, who has done PR, who can understand people. Such things are there. Like as we see, as we know that companies are moving from IQ to EQ. Like they want people with higher emotional quotient. So
Yes.
that is PORs are something which build this emotion coefficient. Like IQ we have from our childhood, but EQ is something which we can develop using POR, and that is what companies are looking for. So if it is possible, if you can manage things, definitely one should go for it.
Yes. Yes. Right. You have mentioned that EQ. Yeah, IQ and EQ. So obviously there are certain things which we can learn only let us put it in another way. There are certain things which cannot be learned from books only. Means you have to spend some time in field. My means outdoor activities, like it may be sports or it may be any kind of event management. So obviously those PORs might not help you directly, but those you will make you a better person, or at least an improved version of yourself, so that you will feel confident, and at the same time your EQ will grow exponentially. So yeah, that is a very strong point, and I think we should, those who are feeling skeptical or not sure about PORs, they should this answer of yours might help them to take a decision on that. So yes. So I guess we have now talked about the things which happened during the interview. We also talked about some of the we also dissected the interview round, and we also discussed the role of PORs as well. Now, one general question, in fact, not general, the question which apply to this particular placement season only, online offline thing, right? In this COVID-19 pandemic, we were not having a normal placement season. Everything was being done online mode, and since you were there in the placement, so you have seen what offline placement means. So means, how do you see this online placement season? Any pros and cons, or how do you think we should take some extra measures for this online placement? Means, as a student perspective, like I am sitting for the placements, so how should I prepare for this online placement?
Like a very big drawback of this online placement is we are not surrounded with people. Like
Mm.
when last year when my friends were preparing, my seniors were preparing for placements, they were studying in a group of 10 or 12. If one of them has studied a topic, they all used to gather in a room. One of them used to explain that, others were used to listen to him and make point if he is teaching something wrong. In that case, a group study was happening. In Then, as you know, that during placement season, when tests start, it gets very exhaustive. We may give up some time, but when we see all around friends are preparing or friends are going to give a test, we get motivation by looking at them itself, or one of our friend may come and pat us, let's go, we have to do this, we don't have much choice. Such things were lacking in online. all
Yes.
Everyone need to be motivated by himself.
Yes.
Many of us were at home, so family pressure of getting placed, such things were there. Like had one need to have high mental stability
Mhm.
during online placement,
Yes.
much more than what he needs to during offline. So during online, this only, like especially mechanical or departments which have lesser mechanical stats, uh, lesser placement stats, uh, don't get demotivated by small things like if one or two tests doesn't clear. If
Yes.
at all, there I have lots and lots of example that uh, many people who could not clear even a one test, they got placed with a decent package in a very good company, because whichever test you are giving are only for companies from day 1 to day 4.
Yes.
World doesn't end on day 4. Actually, real world starts from day 5. Half of the IIT gets placed from day 5 onwards. So your
Yeah.
placement season starts from day 5, even if you are not shortlisted for even one company. Don't
Yes.
get demotivated. Keep yourself motivated. Listen good music whenever you are depressed, and don't give up. Never ever give up, which is off to happen, which is very prone to happen if you are going for an online mode, because you are not surrounded by motivated people. To get yourself motivated, you need to push yourself only. And that's it, I think. Like,
Yes. Yes, Prem. So then I guess we have covered almost all the things which we were supposed to discuss. And we also discussed some of the extra tips and tricks which one should keep in mind. Anything which you feel important regarding your interview, which you want to share? Uh, Means mainly about interview, or in fact anything about your placement experience, anything. And then we will come to the next, I think the last thing. So if you want to share anything important, you can share it. for placement perspective.
Uh, One last thing I wanted to share, but I don't know. Don't take negative points out of this. Like just before my exam interview was at 10:30. Uh, a day before I gave Sony interview, for which I was very confident that I will get selected. At morning 5 a.m. results came out. I was not selected, and at 10:30 a.m. my exam interview was scheduled. At 10 a.m. I don't know what happened. I got very demotivated. Like I didn't sleep for previous 2 days. Uh, at 10 a.m. I got very demotivated. I was like, anyhow, I will not get selected in this as well. I am giving my best, but nothing happening. Such thoughts were coming. So at 10 a.m. I slept. I slept, thinking I will not give the interview for exam. Uh, this year in online interview mode, we had this alarm thing at 10:30 exactly. Alarm rings.
Yeah.
I slept and I was so carefree that I didn't even wake up because of that alarm. Then my friend Saurabh Patil called me. My phone ring is a bit louder, so it rang and I lifted. He said, "Your interview is scheduled. Give the interview. Let's see what happened. Don't think of negative aspect of it." Then I thought, let's see what happens, and gave the interview. Since I was carefree and hence fearless, and gave the interview with full confidence. And later I got selected. So reason why I'm telling is this: there was no need to get demotivated, and many of you who are watching this might feel that how foolish I was. But things are not in our hands. We don't know how we will think. Why did I think in that way such foolishly? I too don't know. But I was demotivated. So such things will happen with you as well during
Yeah.
placement or at any point in life as well. So what I'm telling is, don't let this happen to you. Take this as an example. I was demotivated and got placed in that company itself. So uh, stay focused and don't lose hopes. Uh,
Definitely, at IIT Bombay, we have a very good ambience and atmosphere both. Like we have, n number of firms coming to IIT Bombay in lot of profiles, lot of domains, in fact. So if you are sincere enough and the way you prepared, like you were quite motivated from the very beginning of your, I guess, fourth or fifth semester, you were, I think, fourth, third semester. So like you prepared everything. You prepared machine learning. You did some courses. You also did coding. You took that course from Gigs for Gigs. So I think that way we all should be prepared. And rather than being negative, like you mentioned, you should not be negative, not feel demotivated, do not be discouraged, disheartened. Just keep focusing and work on your weak areas, and definitely you will make it in some form for sure. It might be a bit delayed, but you will definitely get the job. And like in your case, even though you were not happy enough to attend the exam interview, but your friend Saurabh Patil, he encouraged you, and eventually you attended and you finally made it through and you cracked that. So that matters. We should never lose hope, and we never know what is there. What has God for us. Like sometimes we never know what is there for us. Yeah. So yes, Prem. So Prem, the very last thing, obviously, we and till now we have really discussed a lot of things which will serve as a beacon or a motivation for upcoming students, especially for mechanical engineering department. So any advice or any gyan sort of which you would like to give to the upcoming students, mainly students in your department, how should they prepare for placements, and any advice you would like to give to them?
Most of the GAN I think I have already given, but
Yeah.
one more thing which I missed, I think, is that uh, just introspect that what interests you. Like,
Yeah.
does coding interest you? That does machine learning interest you? Do you really only want to work in core?
Yes.
Just identify that and work in that direction. If you could really identify that and you are really enjoying doing that,
Yes.
if you are not just doing for the sake of placements, like if I do that, I will get placed. Don't have this attitude. have an attitude that if I do this, I will enjoy. If I
Yes.
do this, I will enjoy my career as well. If
Yes.
you are doing something which you enjoy, then no one can stop you from getting placed.
Yes.
Uh, find some time to explore what you like. You may not like, you cannot, we are not Buddha, like we cannot sit, meditate, and just have enlightenment that I like this. That
Yes.
will not happen. You will have to explore. You will have to do some courses. You will have to spend time which you may feel like wasting. Like initially, just see if I like coding or not. You may waste 1 month, but at least in that 1 month, you understood that you are not meant for coding. Now
Yes.
exactly you know what. Now you exactly know what you don't have to do. Then you will explore something else. Do this initially. Once you know what you have, what you are liking, what you have to do, then no one can stop you.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, definitely. So, yeah, and it reminds me a very good, saying. Like you mentioned that we should introspect ourselves and we should try to find the areas which we really want to work in. And you also mentioned the things which excite you actually, and the things which you can work for hours even without getting tired. Sometimes there are certain things which we like, which we enjoy doing that. It might be a course, it might be anything, in fact. So just try to find out those areas, and at the same time do not get disappointed. So that also brings to a very famous saying in Hindi that we should not चिंता नहीं चिंतन करनी चाहिए. हम ऐसा कहते हैं, चिंता मत करो चिंतन करो. So I think that we should practice in our day to day life as well, and that way we can improve ourselves definitely. So yes. So I guess then we have covered pretty much everything, Prem, which I had planned actually, and you had also, you brought a lot of new things which I was not aware of. So thank you very much for enlightening me and for our viewers, for the upcoming viewers. So thank you for taking your time from your busy schedule. Definitely, you used to work for your lab as well, I know that. So thank you very much. Thank you for taking your time.
Thank you, Sudhakar, for inviting me for this.